All right, what's going on? This is Corman coming to you, and we wanted to do something today, talk about something that I think is very key for continuing to make progress and grow with whatever you're doing, and that's creating systems and templates to help your workflow. And just wanted to see before I get going, make sure everything is sounding good. Looks like it is. So we are good to go. All right. Well, let's get into it. First of all, just want to thank you all for a great show. Those people who came out to um, Scat Jazz Lounge on Saturday. We had a great time playing with my quartet. It was fun. We really was digging in. I'll share some clips from that. I just posted something from the show we did at Sundance, so that was fun as well. And actually, it was from the gigs and you know recording some of those, the clips, and then sharing those on social media. I actually thought about the system and having a template. Also, just being consistent with with your routine. You have a system. You might have a system in place, and some of this is kind of instinctually done, or you just subconsciously kind of do it. But I wanted to talk about that specifically, so we can be even more intentional. And so let's talk about it. First of all, I said it all the time. I have a show coming up here on the 26th um, during the day. I believe it's 2:30 to 3:30 for the D Jam Dallas Jazz Appreciation Month. Playing from 2:30 to 3:30. Um, we usually do it at the church in downtown Dallas. So look that up. They have the schedule. Just Google it, because I think it's St. Paul is usually where they do it. They do it at the church when we have jazz. If I hope that's the right thing. I'll have to go and find my text message. But D Jam Dallas Jazz Appreciation Month, uh, the 26th, and I'm playing during the day, 2:30 to 3:30. After that, that next um, well, later that day I gotta play a gig, but things are trucking along pretty good. And I was thinking about just as I've been implementing the things that we have I've been sharing about minding your business and working in your business and those different things. Um, I wanted to definitely uh, keep like a journal of what's been going on with my application of a lot of the things that I'm getting. You know what I'm saying? So the key is, and I remember I actually wrote a blog about this, and I talk about how you work inside your business and then you work outside of your business. What is working inside of your business? So working inside of your business, that's where you have things that you have to do um, internally, whether it be administrative things, whether it be updating your website, putting email campaigns together, or tweaking your offers and editing videos, or and all of those type of things. These are things that have to happen, and so sometimes, especially if it's just you're a solopreneur, you can bottleneck, and so that's where it's important to have like a blueprint, or like a um, instructions that you can put together and pass it on to somebody else, delegate it to somebody else so that they can do it, so you can take that off your plate. And a lot of this comes from um, routine of doing things over and over and over, And when you get to the point where you feel that you this is not a good use for your time, then that's when you want to delegate. And so also, people always think, can I afford to delegate? Can I afford to pay somebody else to do it? And you have to make an assessment of what you're bringing in. And with what you're bringing in, allocate a portion to pay somebody else to do those things so it can free you up and do the things that only you can do. I remember hearing that you want to make sure you're not doing the work of a teenager. You know what I'm saying? So if you can assign a teenager tasks, routine tasks to do in your business so that you don't have to do it, then that would be a good use of your time and where you can focus on the income producing uh, things in your business, content creation, and things of that nature, and have somebody else to edit it and do the websites and stuff like that. Now, there's tons of companies out there that will help you do that. And I know sometimes it's overwhelming because you're seeing all the AI offerings, you're seeing the companies that have monthly subscriptions, and you have so many options, so many choices, and then even if you buy that, you like, okay, how I still have to do it. Well, you can get somebody else. That's what I'm saying, to do it for you. But even when you do that, you have to have a system in place. What I mean by that, you got to know what you want to do. You have to be able to communicate what you want to do, what you want done, so that the person that you're going to get to work on it is clear. Because what'll happen when you're not clear, you'll give it to them and then they'll do something wrong or they won't understand all of your details and they'll create it and they'll leave things out and then you have to go back and forth. So, you might have somebody working on it, but then the communication, um, things are just broken because they can't interpret everything that you want because you haven't clearly laid it out. And so this is some of the things that I've experienced over the years, just having virtual assistants to work with me over time. But I learned that it's better once you got a system that they kind of fall into sync, get in sync, and it's good. So I have an assistant now, and so what I do is after I video the recordings, or I do the recordings of the gigs, I'll upload it into Dropbox, and so we have a Trello. So she'll just go in there and see the resources in there, so she can always access that. And so she'll come back to me. She'll create a clip, come back to me. Is this okay? I was like, nah, that's not it. You need to change this. And so I'm able to continue to do what I'm doing, and then get the feedback. We'll give her feedback on some edits, and then I say, "Yep, that's good. Post it." you know. And so we have that system. She's always looking for clips to share, and of course, after a gig, I just need to upload those videos into the Dropbox, and so she can access the folder. So that's our system. And so if you're going to get an assistant to help you with what you're doing, you have to figure out what that system is. And then even when you're onboarding or when somebody's getting started with your team or working for your company, you it's going to take some time for them to get into the flow and the groove of the way you operate, and how they're going to fit what you need. That's why when you apply for a job, the job description is very detailed and they interview you to make sure that you're going to be a good fit. And of course, they'll have somebody who's been working there the first, when you first get there to kind of show you the ropes, have you to shadow them so that you can get into the groove and the system. And so, and a lot of this stuff too, once we've done things over and over, especially when you're a musician and you've recorded a lot, like for instance, another synth system in my head. like when I record, right? Somebody, I did a podcast yesterday. We're gonna share that. I'll share that podcast again if you missed it live. I was with Miss Celia Hughes, and she's out of Austin, and she's been running nonprofit organizations for like over 30 years, and with the arts, and so she did an interview. I did an interview, a podcast with her yesterday, and we were just talking about. I lost my train of thought. So we did the podcast. What was I talking about? I see. That's the thing when you get to setting stuff up to give you context of who Celia was. I went into that thing and I forgot what I was bringing that up to tell you about. We was talking about systems and templates. Oh, recording. That's what it was. So I was talking about how you have you have a way that you go about doing things when it comes to recording. And so she asked me like, "Are you still writing new tunes?" And then I thought about it. I was like, "Yes." So we wrote something. I wrote something when I was in Baton Rouge on Wednesday night. I heard a melody, so I sang it into my voice memo, and then I heard the groove, I heard everything to it, and then I sent it to the guys that night. And that morning, I modified some things. I put a groove on it, and I was just beatboxing the groove and like singing the melody, and I overdubbed the drum, the beatbox over the melody, and I sent it to everybody so they could listen to it. And so when we got to the studio in the morning at Southern, I ended up me and Fred, put some changes down. I played the changes. He notated it in Dorico, and then we got it. And so me, Roland Guerin, John Jones, and Fred Sanders, we recorded the song, and we had to go through a few takes because even in that instance, although uh, it's fresh. The song is fresh. So even the process when you're recording something together, you got to get in the groove together. Everybody has to find the right space, because it's floating. It's like the vibe. You're dealing with the different elements, like the actual song, the style of the song, the emotion of the song, the dynamics of the song, the players, the feel, the hits, so the spirit of the moment, the vibe, all of that. You're thinking about all those things, so you're trying to get into, I guess, the essence of the song, and so subconsciously we react and do things. And it was funny. So it was a section in the song where I changed keys, and so when we were playing the melody out, uh, Roland had made an executive decision to vamp on this section when we changed the key instead of going back to the other key. And I was like, you know what, that makes sense, because I hadn't fully really thought it through. It was like a song that came the previous night. So we were in the studio and kind of figuring it out, getting into it. So we had to lay down a few takes, more than a few, just to get the song to where it felt good and it was in the ballpark of being, a good take to use. And so that was a great example, I think, about having a system together, in the sense of, you know what happens, like what I mean. So when you're creating something, right? uh for the first time, you're getting the idea. And so once you get the idea, you have to understand it as an individual. And so what ends up happening is, if you don't understand it as an individual, then the people who you present the idea to is going to be it's going to be kind of crazy, or it's like a lot that they have to interpret and conclude based on their experience. So the system would be, if in the best scenario, is to hear it, um, put it in your DAW. You know, Logic is what I use. I just had audio voice memo I sang into, uh, I didn't have time to chart it out, but what Fred did, he put a chart together, and then we printed it out and gave it to the guys, even though it was still some modifications that needed to be made. But that's the system where you hear it, you record it, notate it, get it to the guys, play it a few times, and then after that, we should be able to interpret what that is and shape the song. And so that was uh, that was an experience. It was a good experience, but even you learn from that. Like the next time we get together, um, it takes a minute to get in sync uh, with the song. But once again, it's a challenge to you as a leader because we have to communicate things. We have to do the best we can to make the people who are going to work for us or interpret what we need. We got to we got to make it as easy as possible so that they understand things. And so it's not that we always know what we want either, you know. And so that's the thing about the creative process. Sometimes you get impressed, something is impressed on your heart, and you're compelled to do it, and you don't have all the details. But the challenge, the thing that makes it a beautiful thing is like as you get things or as you hear and you're trying to create these things that you're hearing or move on to things that you're getting, you're constructing. Like I always say, the business, work your business, and then your business will work on you, the personal development, the professionalism, the discipline, and all of that. Then as a result, your business can work for you. And I always say it's not about perfection, it's just about showing up and being consistent. And a lot of times, people make excuses for themselves because they say, I don't have this, I can't do that, I don't look like this, or I'm not qualified, and blah, 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 blah. They cancel themselves before they even start. Whereas that's a different issue. That's like a self esteem issue. You got some self esteem issues, you got some identity issues, something. You know what I'm saying? Because if you keep making excuses and you never start, you're missing out on opportunities that will come from you being accessible. You got to be accessible. You got to share. And as you share, you will trigger other people, get other people to even circle back and help you with the things that you've shared that you already do, you know. But if you don't, you're robbing yourself of that experience. And so that's why I wanted to talk about, well, bring your attention or mind to think about systems. Like, what is your system for doing whatever it is that is you do? Think about that. And even you can create a product or service based on your system. Everybody has systems. Everybody has templates. You know what I'm saying? And once you've as you've done things over and over as a master or a professional, then your process can then be monetized. You know what I'm saying? And so that's kind of like some of the stuff we go over also inside of my the Sound Musician Mentorship Program. So I talk about that, like my approach, my systems towards improvisation and growth within developing your sound and your voice on the instrument. And we have gone over that, and the students have really been blessed by just the experience and the ideas and the ways to think about how they approach practicing and bettering themselves on their instrument. And so it's been a blessing. It's been great. Now, if you and then the other end is business. So we've had some great calls here lately about business, and we're going into some things where people are looking to get their credit together and then get business funding and things like that. And it's a lot of new things that I'm learning and things that I'm actually implementing in my own businesses and the structure that I'm setting up, but I have the resources now to be able to do that. So these are some of the things that you get from being a part of the Sound Musician Mentorship Program. And I love it. I love it because, the thing about, you know, what I do and how I do it, it's natural. I always get that it's organic and it's not, it's real. It's real because I I always was the type of cat to want to be honest and want to be real because I don't like fake. I don't like pretentious. You know what I'm saying? I like authenticity. I like natural. And so those are the type of people that I gravitate to. And if you're one that likes that type of uh, teacher, then I encourage you to be a part of the Sound Musician Mentorship Program. And the website is shed.quamonfowler.com. But I'm telling you that it's just a blessing to be a part of a community of like-minded individuals, and you get a chance to talk on a weekly basis. You get a chance to hear from me, learn as I present different things, and it'll challenge you and help you to sharpen your tools, your skill set, and be a better um, musician all around. And you're able to share it with your community. If you're teaching or if you're performing and doing different things, you have fresh new perspectives and ideas that you can even implement into your business and what you're doing, right? Okay, so all right, so the template part, and we can go into that. So I was just even thinking about, I actually stole this from Braxton Cook, another alto player. He was talking about the templates or systems when you go into practice. He was looking at atomic habits, and actually he reminded me. I would say I didn't steal it, but I was reminded of this because we both read Atomic Habits, and Atomic Habits talks about how when you have your environment, like set things up in your environment that gives you cues or triggers, you to want to practice or to want to do a particular thing. So in my garage, when I'm out there in the garage, I have my setup. It's specifically for recording video and recording audio in Logic. That's like most of the things I do in there. And so I have stuff that's already ready so I can just sit down and just put on my microphone, or if I'm gonna go live stream, I can have it plugged up into my interface, and boom, I can get it done within 5 minutes setup. Or if I need to go into Logic and record, my mic is hooked up, my EWI, my new rad, all of that is sitting out, and so I'm ready. My MIDI card is there, so I'm ready to just plug in and record and knock it out. Okay, so those are some examples there where so you don't want to be having to set up a lot of stuff and connect things, because that takes away from the creative energy that you might have. Sometimes you get that inspiration, you just want to go, boom, get it out. You know what I'm saying? So you have to create spaces that are conducive for that. You know what I'm saying? I would imagine if you're going to be cooking, have all your spices and all your pots and pans and everything you need like right there. So when you get in the kitchen, boom, you can just knock it out. So it's the same principle there with templates. Okay, so excellent. Make sure y'all check out, if you haven't gotten it already, my book, The Christian Musician, where you learn what your real gift is and how to succeed with and beyond your music. Excellent book. The audio book is available along with the Kindle book or hard book or hardback version. And I'm actually still needing to complete the new book that's will be available here this year. I'm praying I can get it done. But yeah, I should be able to get it done this year. We're gonna do the consistent musician, and so that'll be available pretty soon. So that's it for today. Hope this was helpful. Um, yeah, and it's definitely a discipline for me, and I keep on pushing to give you nuggets for the sound musician. And if you would like to get started with the Sound Musician Mentorship Program, go to shed.quamonfowler.com. My email also is info@quamonfowler.com. And my number 877-360-4014. You can text me there and holla at me. Okay, we will see you on the next one. All right, peace. All right, what's going on, y'all? Thanks for watching.